Hey guys, it's Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com. Today we're going to talk about the dynamic method. Now, the dynamic method has been around for quite a while, been used by the Soviets since the late 50s, early 60s, and then popularized in the West by Louis Simmons in the late 80s and early 90s. Now, a lot of people don't believe in this method and don't think that it works, but I'm here to show you today that it does work and this is how you use it. So let's get after it. Okay, so the first thing we need to know is what is the dynamic effort method? Well, that is a sub-maximal weight lifted in maximum intention or maximum velocity. So basically what we're trying to do is use a lighter weight for maximum speed. So if we look at this particular clips behind while I'm talking, this uses a box squat. So you can do this as a box squat, free squat, all different kinds of bars, chains, and bands. Now, how you use speed work for squatting can be vastly varied depending on a couple of things. One, where's your weakness? Well, if your weakness is at the very bottom, then you're going to want to do free squats with your speed work, meaning that box squats at parallel or slightly below parallel may not help you nearly as much if your sticking point's at the bottom. But for most of us that have been training for a slight time, usually the sticking point is about 1 inch to 2 inches above parallel when the rebounding effect is completely gone and then the grinding begins. And that is why you want to use chains, as you can see in this particular video, and or bands. It's actually teaching you to push through and accelerate as something's getting heavier. Now, if you only train with free weights, you're never going to get that particular environment based on the fact that once free weight's moving, inertia has taken place and now the weight's actually lighter. So you can always tell a lot of people that train with free weights only, they tend to have a lot of particular sticking points in certain areas based on the fact that they're not training with accommodative resistance. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get insanely strong by not using bands and chains. You can, but there will be limiting factors. And what I like about rotating bands and chains, especially for speed work, is it changes the pressure gradient. Now, if anybody listens to anything that I talk about, we're always trying to reduce mileage. And I think that by squatting with different types of tensions, you're reducing mileage based on the fact that at certain points of the lift, it's going to be easier and harder when you mix chains, bands, and free weight. So, with dynamic work, where do we begin? Where will we begin with what percentage? Now, for most of us, we're going to want to use something that we can move insanely fast. So if you watch these videos, these look faster than traditional strength training. So the point is it has to be light enough to move quick. Now, what I have found for transfer in sport and general athleticism is that 30 to 40% works for nearly everyone, including powerlifters. And the reason is because it's far enough away from max effort work. What you find is that if you're in the 50 to 60% range, it tends to cause so much central nervous system fatigue that your max effort work actually suffers over long periods of time. So this means that you can use 50 to 60%, but you just can't use it consistently. So as you can see, we would wave particular speed work from a little too light, right on the nose, and then a little too heavy, and then rotate it back around. This is how we consistently get better over very long periods of time. So the point is, if you're only using speed work for small pieces, then you can kind of overtrain it, so to speak, with 50 to 60% range. But if you're going to train it year round like we do, you're going to have to move it down to the 30, 40% range. What I find is that when you're training speed work, and this is another big clue, is that if you're moving as fast as you possibly can with 100% intent, you're either going to make or not make mistakes that you would make the same if it was ultra heavy. So what does this mean? This means that if you're taping your speed lifts like what we do, not only to show you guys on Instagram and these YouTube videos, we're also taping it to see what type of form is going to either be good or bad under maximum velocity. So if we're moving as fast as possible, the chances are when we go as heavy as possible, we're going to make the same mistakes. So the point is that you want to perfect speed work, and what we have found is that perfection of form under high velocity equals perfection of form under intense weight. So the point is that if you're training really, really hard, the dynamic method perfectly, and you're moving as fast as possible, it is an amazing coaching tool in order for you to see all of your weaknesses. So if you want to see how we lay out this dynamic effort method workout that you've seen these videos behind us doing, come on to Patreon and we're going to post the entire video of the reps, the sets, how much to do, and all of these other factors that are involved in making a good program. If you're not necessarily interested in learning how to design the program yourself, we offer this particular service on online coaching on the website. So I highly recommend you guys get on there and get the best coaching on the market that we have to offer. Thanks for watching.